আসসালামু আলাইকুম, কি অবস্থা সবার? আজকে আমরা একটা স্পিকিং টেস্টের ভিডিও তৈরি করব। তো আমার সাথে তৌসিফ আছে। তৌসিফ বুয়েট থেকে পড়াশোনা করে এখন উইচিটা স্টেটে সে পিএইচডি করতেছে। শুরু করতে পারি আমরা নাকি তৌসিফ?
অবশ্যই।
ওকে। This is the speaking test of International English Language Testing System taking place at IELTS Mahir. The examiner is Mahir Mahmood. Examiner ID is 999105. Candidate is Touseef Hasan. Candidate ID is 229054. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Can you tell me your full name, please?
Yes, my full name is Touseef Hasan.
Can you tell me where you're from?
I am from Dhaka, Bangladesh.
Can I see your ID, please?
Sure. Here you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, in the first part of the test, I'm going to ask you some questions about yourself. Let's talk about where you live. Do you live in a house or an apartment?
I live in an apartment and it is a townhouse.
Okay. Can you describe your apartment?
Sure. So, as I said, this is called a townhouse and it has 2 floors, it has 1 basement, it has 3 bedrooms, 2 washrooms, a living space and a kitchen.
Okay. What is your favorite room in your townhouse?
My favorite room has to be the living space because it is that one place in our house where we all get to sit together and spend a lot of quality time together.
Is there anything you want to change about your apartment?
Yes, if there was one thing I could change about my apartment, it would have to be the number of washrooms it has. So 1 extra washroom would really help us all in a few cases.
Okay. Let's move on to traveling. Do you like to travel?
Yes, I like to travel a lot.
Why?
Because it gives me a sense of perspective where if I'm stressed, if I am if I have a lot of worries in my life, one trip can make me happy and make all the stress go away.
Where is the last place you visited?
The last place I visited as a trip would have to be Cox's Bazar back in Bangladesh, and it was a very special trip because it was my honeymoon.
Okay. Do you prefer traveling alone or with others?
I prefer traveling with others. It would be best if it was my friends or family because then I would really have the opportunity to share the good moments with my dear ones.
Okay. What is your favorite holiday destination?
My favorite holiday destination would have to be my village home because during holidays we all have the opportunity to get together and spend a lot of time together.
Okay. Do you think it's important to take holidays?
Yes, it is important to take holidays, mostly because when we are stressed about a lot of things in life, one holiday can make all of that go away. So yes, it is important.
Let's talk about media. What kind of music do you like?
I like rock music because it gives me a sense of thrill when life gets boring.
Do you like watching movies?
Yes, I like watching movies, but with friends.
Okay. How often do you watch TV?
I watch TV frequently because I am a huge fan of sports.
Okay. Do you read newspapers?
Yes, I read newspapers, although it is a bit antique nowadays, but it's still one of my most favorite hobbies.
Would you prefer books over movies?
Yes, I would choose books over movies because when we read books, we sometimes get a personal interpretation of what happens in the story or how the story would look like. But in movies, we don't have that interpretation. We only see what we are seeing on the screen.
Now, I'm going to give you a topic and I'd like you to talk about it for 1 to 2 minutes. Before you talk, you'll have 1 minute to think about what you're going to say. You can make notes if you wish. Do you understand?
Yes.
There's some paper and a pencil for making notes.
Thank you.
And here is your topic. I would like you to describe a memorable holiday or trip you have had. Remember, you have 1 to 2 minutes for this, so don't worry if I stop you. I'll tell you when the time is up. Can you start speaking now, please?
Sure. So one of the most memorable holidays and trips I had was a trip to Kaptai, which is in Rangamati. It was, I think, around December last year. The weather was very comfortable, so that is one of the important things when you're traveling in Bangladesh, which is my home country. So I went there with my friends, and they were my school friends. So we were planning a trip for a long time, but it did not happen for a lot of reasons. We basically grew up. A lot of us have jobs, so it's very tough to find a suitable time. So that is one of the reasons why it was very memorable for us, because we finally got to go to that trip we all wanted to for a long time. And another reason why it was also memorable, because it was my last trip before marriage. So I had the chance to make a lot of memories with my friends. We went kayaking in the huge lake of Kaptai, and it was beautiful. And as kayaking is one of my most favorite hobbies and one of the most fun activities to do, so I had a lot of quality time there. And we basically spent 3 days, and in those 3 days we had a lot of food, including a lot of tribal food, which is very interesting to me, because it's very different from what we have back at home or in regular days. And during those 3 days, we also had a chance to talk about our school days, because our school days are long gone. So after all these years, how we felt back in those days, how good the times were, we had the chance to talk about all those. So it was a very pleasant trip overall, and I wish we could spend more time, but we couldn't. So yeah.
Thank you. Can I have the booklet and the paper and pencil back, please?
Sure.
So we have been talking about a memorable journey that you had. Now I'm going to ask you a few questions related to this topic. Do you think traveling is important for personal growth?
Yes, I do think traveling is important for personal development, because when you travel to certain places, you meet a lot of people. You meet people from a lot of backgrounds, from different walks of life. So when you get to talk to them, know about how they live, how their lifestyles are, that is when you gain a lot of perspectives. And when you gain a lot of perspectives, you have a better insight on how you should live your life. So this is how you can develop yourself personally, by traveling.
How do you think traveling has changed in recent years?
I think traveling has changed in a lot of ways recently. One of the ways would be, as we all have cell phones in our pockets right now. When we travel, we tend to use the cell phones to make memories, like clicking photographs of beautiful places or scenic views and so on. But what we forget is the beauty of traveling is when we spend the moments with our friends without any interruption of cell phones or whatsoever. So I think this is one way traveling has changed recently.
Okay. What are the benefits of traveling to different countries and experiencing new cultures?
The benefits of experiencing new cultures by traveling to new countries is actually manifold, because we can experience new food, we can experience how different people live their lives, because sometimes we tend to be stuck in a bubble within our own country. When we go to other countries, when we experience other people's lives, we tend to break that bubble and expand our horizons. So that is how it's important.
In what ways do you think technology has affected the way people travel?
As I mentioned before, technology has had a lot of impacts in the ways we travel. But there are good things and bad things to that. Sometimes the good things are we can capture a lot of photographs without having to think about if we can manage to have a camera with us, because we all have cell phones. And the bad thing would be sometimes we get a little too distracted by technology, by cell phones. So in those cases, we sometimes tend to forget our friends or the genuine friendships that we forged during traveling.
How important do you think it is for students to travel?
It is very important for students to travel, because generally during their semesters, during their terms, they tend to be a lot busier when they have breaks. So during those times, they get stressed over life a lot. So after they're done with maybe their examinations, they get some free time. And in that free time, if they travel, they will gain a lot of perspectives on life. They will meet with new people. And in that way, all the anxieties, all the worries about life, they tend to go away. So it's very important.
Do you think traveling can help people improve their mental well-being?
Yes, traveling can definitely help people improve their mental well-being because in our daily life, as life has become more robotic nowadays, it's very important to just keep everything aside for a while and go for a trip with your friends. And when you do that, as I said, you sort of expand your horizons on life and sort of see life from a bird's eye view. So it helps us to get rid of all the depression, sadness, and even when you talk with your friends on a trip, it helps you improve your mental state.
Thank you. That's the end of your speaking test.
Thank you.
Touseef, thank you speaking test দেওয়ার জন্য। এখন বলো তোমার কত দিব স্কোর?
আমার কাছে মনে হয় আমাকে 7 দেওয়া উচিত।
কেন?
কারণ মাঝে মধ্যে যদিও এটা আমার ন্যাচারাল স্বভাব যে একটা সেন্টেন্সকে একটা নির্দিষ্ট ভাবে বলতে গিয়ে আমি কিছু আনন্যাচারাল ওয়ার্ড মাঝে মধ্যে আমার সেন্টেন্স গুলোতে ঢুকিয়ে ফেলি। সো এটা আসলে ঠিক না, মাঝে মধ্যে ফ্লোটা ধরে রাখাটা ইম্পর্টেন্ট রাদার দেন গোয়িং ফর আ স্পেসিফিক স্ট্রাকচার, স্পেসিফিক ওয়ার্ড। আর 7-এরও কম দিতে যাচ্ছি না নিজেকে, কারণ জিনিসটা লজ্জাজনক হয়ে যাবে।
তোমার মেইন এক্সামে কত আসছিল?
7।
স্পিকিং এ 7 ছিল। কবে দিছিলে এক্সাম?
আমি আসলে 2 বার দিয়েছি, লাস্ট বার দিয়েছিলাম হচ্ছে নভেম্বর 2023।
তো যাই হোক, থ্যাংক ইউ এগেইন ফর টেকিং দিস স্পিকিং টেস্ট। আর ফিডব্যাক হচ্ছে, যেমন আমার কাছে যেটা মনে হয়েছে স্পিকিং, তৌসিফের স্পিকিং টেস্ট নিয়ে, তার হচ্ছে গ্রামারে খুব একটা ইস্যু ছিল না, সে খুব একটা গ্রামাটিক্যাল মিস্টেক করে নাই। তারপর হচ্ছে যদি আমরা উচ্চারণের বিষয়টাও দেখি, উচ্চারণের খুব একটা সমস্যা হয় নাই। তার আগে একটু বলে নিই, আমরা জানি স্পিকিং এর মার্কিং ক্রাইটেরিয়া হচ্ছে টোটাল 4টা। একটা হচ্ছে ফ্লুয়েন্সি এন্ড কোহিরেন্স, আর একটা হচ্ছে গ্রামাটিক্যাল রেঞ্জ এন্ড অ্যাকুরেসি, আর একটা হচ্ছে লেক্সিক্যাল রিসোর্স, এন্ড দেন উই হ্যাভ প্রনাউন্সিয়েশন। তো এই 4টাতে ইন্ডিভিজুয়ালি মার্কিং করা হয়, দেন এগুলো সাম করে একটা অ্যাভারেজ স্কোরিং স্পিকিং এ দেওয়া হয়। তো তৌসিফের এই 4টার আলোকে যদি আমি বলি, সেটা হচ্ছে তার উচ্চারণ খুব একটা সমস্যা হয় নাই, উচ্চারণ তার ঠিক ছিল। গ্রামাটিক্যাল মিস্টেক আমি যখন স্পিকিং টেস্ট নেই তখন আমার কাছে ওইভাবে মনে হয় নাই, যখন ভিডিওটা এডিট করবো তখন হয়তো আরো 2-একটা কানে বাজতে পারে। তো যাই হোক, আমি আর ফিডব্যাকে যাচ্ছি না, আমি চাইবো আপনারা ভিডিওটা আরেকবার দেখেন, যাদের সামনে পরীক্ষা আছে তাদের জন্য স্পিকিং টেস্টের ভিডিওগুলা, মেইন এক্সামে যাওয়ার আগে স্পিকিং টেস্টের ভিডিওগুলো দেখাটা ইম্পর্টেন্ট, এবং ইট হেল্পস যে না, একটা আনসার কিভাবে দেয়া লাগে, কিভাবে কোয়েশ্চেন্স করতেছে, কিভাবে আনসারটা ইলাবোরেট করা যায়, প্রত্যেকটা বিষয় হেল্প করে। ইনফ্যাক্ট সবসময় যে আপনার হায়ার ব্যান্ডের স্পিকিং টেস্ট দেখা লাগবে নট নেসেসারি, আপনি লোয়ার ব্যান্ডের স্পিকিং টেস্টও দেখতে পারেন। ফর এক্সাম্পল, আপনি 5-এর একটা স্পিকিং দেখেন, আপনি 6 দেখেন, 7 দেখেন, 8 দেখেন, তখন আপনি নিজেই কম্পেয়ার করতে পারবেন যে আসলে কোনটা 5 এবং কেন 5, কোনটা 7 এবং কেন 7। তো তৌসিফ, আর কিছু বলার আছে তোমার?
না, এবং আমার আজকে একটা নতুন অভিজ্ঞতা হলো আর কি, কারণ কখনো এরকম মক স্পিকিং টেস্ট দেয়া হয়নি। সো থ্যাংক ইউ মাহির ভাই।